Welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi. Here are the headlines. 100 monuments lit up with tricolour to celebrate 1 billion COVID-19 vaccine doses in India. Japan's Yokohama city hosts symbolic summer dance event. And devotees thank gods by covering body with cow dung lit oil lamps in Nepal. Let's begin the show. As the festive season sets in India, the country found another reason to celebrate this week. It was the momentous occasion of inoculating 1 billion COVID-19 doses, only the second country after China to achieve the feat. While everybody around the world lauded the Indian achievement, the government paid a special tribute to the doctors, paramedics and the healthcare workers by holding several events, including the illumination of all UNESCO heritage sites with national flag colours. Have a look.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi oversaw a vaccine inoculation as India crossed the mammoth mark of inoculating 1 billion COVID-19 doses in the country. With a target population of over 940 million, the country has already jabbed over 70% of them with at least one dose and around 30% with both the doses. Experts around the world say that the feat cannot be termed anything less than historic, for the country had to fight massive challenges, including those of initial supply shortages, vaccine hesitancy, logistics and supply chain challenge, and the rumors and propaganda spread by competitors and the players with vested interests. Modi said that the 1 billion mark had provided a strong shield to the country and the fight was only going to be more intense in coming days.
21 अक्टूबर 2021 का ये दिन इतिहास में दर्ज हो गया है। भारत ने अब से कुछ दूर पहले ही 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज का आंकड़ा पार कर लिया है। 100 साल में आई सबसे बड़ी महामारी का मुकाबला करने के लिए देश के पास अब 100 करोड़ वैक्सीन डोज का मजबूत सुरक्षा कवच है।
India, the second most populous country, is the first democratic nation to have achieved the mark, with indigenous manufacturers confident of producing the next 1 billion in the next 3 to 4 months. The global community has lauded Indian efforts, saying that not only the Indian numbers will help contain the spread, but they have set a benchmark for others too. New Delhi, however, has said that it is not going to grow complacent and will ensure that the entire country is fully vaccinated as soon as possible. India has so far reported 34.1 million COVID-19 cases, most of which were reported during the second wave of infections of the Delta variant between April and May. The number has come down significantly since the vaccination drive picked pace.
बहुत सही है। एक्चुअली ये बहुत ज़रूरी भी है, क्योंकि सब वैक्सीनेटेड रहेंगे ताकि सब मतलब सेफ रहेंगे, वो तो बहुत ज़रूरी है।
Pictures of healthcare workers celebrating the occasion also did rounds on social media, and the government acknowledged their contribution by paying a special tribute to them. From iconic Red Fort in capital New Delhi to several world heritages were illuminated with the national flag colour to mark the occasion.
उत्सव ही है ना हमारे लिए कि 100 करोड़ डोज हो गए। उससे भी बड़ा उत्सव ये है कि आज मुंबई में, महाराष्ट्र में या देश में कोविड को इतनी अच्छी तरह कंट्रोल सबकी मेहनत की वजह से हुआ है।
While India has emerged as one of the fastest in inoculating its adult population with COVID-19 jabs, even faster than European and American countries, it is also set to come up with vaccine for as young as 2 years olds. Indigenous Bharat Biotech has already made the announcement, and the vaccine will be rolled out in a couple of months. The government says it is committed to protecting all its citizens and the country has grown self-sufficient in doing so.
Moving on, Afghanistan and Taliban have been the two buzzwords in South Asian discourse for the past 2 months. While the Taliban has been tirelessly defending its violent and regressive mode of operation, the world is worried about a rapidly deteriorating human rights situation in the country. Whether it was the Moscow summit on Afghanistan or the NATO defense ministerial meeting this week, the top agenda was how to bring stability, both social and economic, in the war-torn nation. And while all of them have unanimously urged Afghan leaders to mend their policies, the group has brazenly put forth its position that everything was going as per the law in Afghanistan. We will also show you how all their claims fall flat in face of a growing resistance from women demanding equal rights and employment.
Afghan women holding placards reading that they were part of the society and education and employment were their rights took to streets of capital Kabul this week. The outrage broke out in wake of the Taliban's exclusionary decisions that have barred them from education and have restricted their personal freedoms. It's been over 2 months since Taliban gained control of Kabul, but the older girls have still not returned to schools. Under the current Taliban dispensation, not even one woman is holding any office. They have also been barred from being employed in a large number of professions. And while it is a clear violation of the terms Taliban agreed to during the peace deal, its leadership during the recently held Moscow talks on Afghanistan, which was also attended by regional players including India and Pakistan, maintained that the government they were heading was not just inclusive but deal-abiding too.
Government is in Afghanistan now also inclusive. About 500,000 employers working with us. All of them former employees.
At a time when the United States' withdrawal has left a massive vacuum in an unstable Afghanistan, Russia, which according to many experts is also concerned about a potential terrorism threat emerging out of Afghanistan, appealed nations to provide financial aid to the Taliban in order to provide it a chance to prove itself. Moscow has also urged the Taliban to endeavor for inclusive government which is representative of both its political and ethnic diversity.
Противодействие вышеназванным угрозам безопасности Афганистана и окружающего его региона, равно как и угрозам, которые проецируются на другие регионы мира, требует своевременного, адекватного ответа как внутри страны, так и со стороны внешних партнеров. Мы призываем движение талибов, и об этом только что говорили снова с уважаемой делегацией, строго следовать линии на недопущение использования территории Афганистана кем-либо против интересов третьих стран, прежде всего, конечно, против непосредственных соседей Афганистана, стран Центральной Азии, наших друзей и союзников.
Taliban, however, has clearly denied, at least as of now, that it is changing anything in the manner in which it operates. It said it would create conditions for women within the framework of Sharia law, the sole component which the global community is apprehensive about. Since returning to power, the Taliban say they have moved as quickly as possible on opening up their government and guaranteeing rights to women, and that they do not represent a threat to any other country. The US and the other NATO countries are not ready to believe the Taliban on face value, and hence the money they could have directed for the people of Afghanistan has been barricaded. Repeated Taliban appeals have gone unheard, for they haven't changed anything on ground.
كذلك أكثر الدول كل الدول هم قالوا وبصوت واحد تقريبا ونادوا على أمريكا أن تنتهي تحذيرات مالية لأفغانستان وأن لا تجمد أموال أفغانستان، لأن هذه الأموال كان للشعب الأفغان وكانوا يأخذون منه رواتب، فلذلك لا حق لهم هم تجميدون أموال هذه.
Meanwhile, the lifestyle in Afghanistan is deteriorating with every rising sun. Whether it is low-income group Afghans, daily wage earners, or even big entrepreneurs, all have been severely affected. And it is not just about the women's right. The Taliban is failing at every front. While it couldn't control the sudden fall of markets and is unable to provide salaries to its employees, it has received major setbacks at the security front too, with ISIS regularly and increasingly targeting civilians.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
4 months into one of its worst COVID-19 outbreaks, Israel is seeing a sharp drop in new infections and severe illness, aided by its use of vaccine boosters, vaccine passports and mask mandates. Israel was struck by its fourth coronavirus wave in June, fueled by the fast-spreading Delta variant. Rather than imposing new lockdown measures, the government bet on a third booster dose of the Pfizer Inc. Vaccine for people aged 12 and up, mandated face coverings and enforced use of a green pass, proof of vaccination, recovery from illness and a negative test for the virus at restaurants and other venues even for children. Since peaking in early September, daily infections in Israel have fallen more than 80% with severe cases nearly halved. Israel's living with COVID strategy, which has come not without cost or controversy, has kept schools and the economy open. The data showed that among people over 60, the first group to receive boosters, infections began declining rapidly about 2 weeks after the third doses were administered, while still climbing among other age groups.
Thailand's Transport Minister Saksiem Sherchop inspected the readiness of the international airports in the country ahead of the November 1 reopening after almost 2 years of shutting its borders due to the global coronavirus outbreak. The country is forging ahead with a quarantine-free reopening plan next month of 17 provinces to vaccinated arrival from low-risk countries. Included will be destinations like Pattaya, Hua Hin, Chiang Mai and Bangkok. According to Saksiem, the goal is to allow visitors to breeze through procedures at the airport as much as possible, where the swabs and ATK tests can be done once they arrive at their hotels and other accommodations.
A few hundred supporters of Iraq's losing Shiite parties gathered in front of Baghdad's fortified green zone, protesting the results of a parliamentary election held on October 10. The main winner of the election was Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr, a populist who has positioned himself as a staunch opponent of both Iran and the United States. Sadr proclaimed the result a victory by the people over militias. There was elation among his supporters. Several supporters of other blocs that lost their seats to Sadr's party marched in capital Baghdad, setting up tents as heavy security presence stood by. Many of the protesters were supporters of Iraqi Shiite armed groups, including the Fatah-linked paramilitary group of Al-Hashd al-Shabi. Sadr's bloc, already the biggest in 329-seat parliament, will expand to 73 seats from 54. Its main rivals for years, the Fatah bloc of factions linked to pro-Tehran militia, meanwhile saw its parliamentary representation collapse to just 14 seats from 48.
Moving on, Japan's Yokohama city hosted summer dance event recently. The event, held in every 3 years, is a symbolic dance event. Also, Japanese company Nisei has come up with soft ice cream with muscat cider in Tohoku region. Have a look.
Japan's Yokohama is an exciting and lively city. Recently, it hosted a 3-month-long dance event which concluded recently. The event is held in every 3 years as a symbolic dance event. Yokohama is filled with energy of artists. During the event, every day new participants gathered to show their amazing performances on the stage. They are beyond the borders of age, gender, nationality, disabled, professional and even amateur. Dance stages were set in various open areas such as commerce facility, shopping street, station square and so on.
コロナ禍においてですね、なかなか活躍の場が少なくなってしまったアーティストの方々などなどがですね、しっかりと公演していただく、また自分たちが踊る場面がなくなってしまった市民の方々、市民のダンサーの方々も踊っていただくという場面でですね、見る方も楽しんでいただくし、踊る方々もしっかりと今だからこそ頑張れるというような公演を作っております。
The program Yokohama Bayside Ballet performed classical ballet at night on a special outdoor stage. The classical ballet was enjoyed with a background of night view of Yokohama. Yokohama city concentrates to cultivate rich creativity and artistic ability of children. Yokohama city provides dance teachers for the school dance activities and organizes workshop to study dance techniques for the children. In a special performance, a dance group consisting of deaf and normal artists performed a dance with sign language. They spread happiness beyond borders. A group of professional freestyle football performers mesmerized the audiences.
楽しかったなとか面白かったなって思ったら、これをきっかけになんかサッカーボール持って一人でも練習できるんで、そうやってなんかちょっと工夫してみんなで盛り上がっていけたら、世界はちょっとずついい方向に行くのかなって。
横浜はですね、港町ならではの特徴かと思うんですけれども、いろんな方々、いろんな文化を受け入れてきた寛容性のある町です。バレエやコンテンポラリーやストリートダンス含めて全てをやりましょうというのも、この寛容性、包容力があってのことなのかなというふうに思っています。横浜でですね、ぜひダンスを通じて皆様と一緒になって盛り上がっていきたいなと思っているので、ぜひ横浜においでください。
Dance event during summers in Yokohama is supported with enthusiasm and spreads the message of creativity. Takata Matsubara Memorial Park for Tsunami Disaster is located in Rikuzen Takata city of Iwate Prefecture. A coffee shop cafe here sells soft ice cream, which is very popular among the visitors. Muscat cider soft ice cream is a gelato ice with muscat flavor and tastes like soda.
道の駅開業にあたりまして、まず美味しいミルク味を提供することが、大きなテーマにありました。その目処が立ったので、陸前高田らしいオリジナルのソフトクリームを神田ぶどう園のマスカットサイダーを使用したソフトクリームで、地元の素材を生かして、味に独自性のある、それでいて美味しいものというところです。
Rikuzen Takata city faced disaster during the Great East Japan earthquake 10 years ago. A huge sea wall and a memorial park are built on the seaside when the city was reconstructed. The lone miracle pine is the only pine tree in this area that was not destroyed by the tsunami, and it has become a symbol of reconstruction. Muscat cider soft ice cream was developed with an aim to roll back the time and get the town filled with tourists. The ice cream has been developed in cooperation Nisse, a soft ice cream maker company. Muscat cider ice is a gelato mixed with soda, not cream. The taste with muscat flavored soda has been developed by a local vineyard. This vineyard was also damaged by the tsunami, but it is still functional and produces original soda. Along with drinking soda, the local vineyard developed a sprinkling soda powder. The refreshing ice cream is very popular among the visitors.
陸前高田は復興に向けて走り続けていきますので、海の幸であったり、山川自然がとても豊かで空気のおいしい 土地となっております。陸前高田に来ることができた際には、マスカットサイダーソフトや美味しいコーヒーなどをご準備してお待ちしておりますので、ぜひお越しください。
As this tsunami hit town is fast moving towards normalcy, tourists here can enjoy Muscat cider soft ice cream.
Moving on, apart from the beauty of the Himalayas and the richness of natural resources, Nepal is also known for its distinct culture and colorful, vibrant festivals. Over the years, the people here have not just preserved their centuries-old traditions, but have expressed them with both pride and pomp. A number of them recently gathered at ancient Bhaktapur city to celebrate a unique tradition of expressing gratitude to deities for answering their prayers. Have a look. Devout Hindus gathered in Nepal's ancient city of Bhaktapur to mark the unique tradition of thanking gods for answering their prayers with traditional fervour. This tradition is a part of the week-long Hindu festival of Dashain that concluded recently. As part of the ritual, those taking part on behalf of their families covered themselves with a thick layer of cow dung, a natural antibacterial fertilizer which is widely used in Hindu rituals at this particular time of the year. Usually, devotees place 3, 5, 7, 18 or even 108 oil-filled lamps on their bodies. This ritual can be performed by persons of all ages. They lie still in the same position for at least 6 hours, while the families and relatives remain on their side to not let any of the lamps go off or fall. It is believed that placing lit oil lamps on themselves brings good luck and helps them get rid of their sins.
टिकाको दिन अब बसै पछि राख्छ यस्तो पहिला 3 वर्ष 4 वर्ष अगाडि नै बत्ती बाल्दिनु भन्थ्यो छोरोले अनि यो लकडाउनले गरेर बाल्न पाएन यसपालि अब यो लकडाउन पनि अलि खुकुलो भएको भएर मन्दिर पनि खुला भएर अनि यसपालि चाहिँ बाल्दिएको.
The festival is the highlight of the religious calendar in Nepal, during which Hindu devotees celebrate the victory of good over evil. Devotees also perform dance, play dhols and use other means too to appease the gods and goddesses.
यो अब यो एउटा आशा हो है धर्मप्रतिको अब रहर पनि हो बच्चाहरुको ठुलोले पनि बाल्छ यो केही अब भनौं न भगवानसँग अब केही माग्नको लागि अब भगवानलाई भनौं न अब एउटा पाकल जस्तै त्यस्तो लागि त्यही भएर बालेको.
Such festivals highlight the cultural treasure trove of the Himalayan nation and particularly focus on the spiritual heritage of the country. It's time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.